trap music. It's a trap. My name's Multiplier and got a tutorial on how to make those 808 kicks in trap music and shit, right? In Ableton Live, cause you can do it all in Ableton. No need for samples and shit. Use Ableton, get more precise, cleaner results that you have more control over. That's what you want. I knew it, right? So, basically, why am I doing this shit? Well, I gave in. I thought, you know what, trap's alright in like really small doses, so I'm gonna make a trap track. Started it and I thought, fuck it, I'm gonna tell you how I made the 808 kicks. So, just to show you what I've been going on and what 808 kicks I'm talking about. See, you're gonna need some sub and shit to hear that, or just crank it like super loud. That'll work. Fat 808s like this. You want that shit, right? I'm gonna tell you how to make it. Cool. So fuck you, everyone who says you should play this sound at the beginning of the tutorial. Just did. So right, let's do it. So, how'd you do that shit? First of all, you're going to want a MIDI track. I used the shortcut, but create works just as fine. Then go to that symbol and then instruments. Then I think it's kick. Yeah, kick. I think it comes in all the Ableton Live shit. And then just kick 808 classic. Double click or drag, either way works. Find it on your little keyboard thing where the right note is. You see over here, press notes on the keyboard, it lights up. So just kind of navigate down and then eventually you'll hit it. Yeah, hit that shit, man. Turn it down so it doesn't clip. And then what do you want to do after that? Well, you got these 4 settings. You got your 808 kicks. You got attack, decay, fine tuning, and velocity sensitivity. So what we're gonna do? Probably going to want, I don't know, depending on, first of all, when you're making your 808 kicks and trap music, chances are you're making them yourself, unless you want to just fucking drag in a sample. But that's a little bit boring, because there's fucking like nothing in trap. So you might as well, audio, stop fucking up. So you might as well, oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, in trap you have like virtually no elements, so you might as well kind of make as much as possible, because otherwise, what you're doing, so you want to make your 808 kicks yourself, or at least make them your own. So bash the note on the keyboard, you got your 808. Depending on how long you want it, kind of play with this decay. Personally, I like it at 5 seconds. It's just nicer, nice and long. And here's a key bit for the fine tuning. You want to tune that shit to a particular note. So what we're going to do, we're going to get a Safari, and then we're going to go notes, hertz, and then we're going to click frequencies and musical notes. And we're going to find which note we want. Now, it's worth noting, if you want this shit played in clubs, don't go lower than an E1. Possibly E flat, D sharp. But that's only for like big systems. Chances are, don't go lower than an E sharp. No, lower than an E. It's pretty well accepted that you can get away with having an E, a low E, and be alright. But yeah, pick one of these, anything from E to about A, and then read off this frequency hertz. So in this case, I like E, so I want 41.2. And then we go here. Click 41.2, enter. Now we got tuned E. And the nice part is, that means it's fucking like in key and shit. And you want that because you're making music, right? You're not just making random ass noises. So now you got yourself an E, which is nice, right? You can pick any note. Oh, Steve says, okay, mate, cheers. Ignore that. So what now? Like, it's a little boring. So what we need to do is we need to compress it, make it our own. So we go to audio effects, drum processing, because it's a drum. Makes sense, right? That's mad. Huge warm, because you know what? It sounds nicest. Drag it across and then play it, see what happens. Notice it's a lot more sustained. It's compressed and shit. Look up compression. That's the main noticeable thing. And then, at least personally, I like my... Oh, I say this like I've made a lot of trap. I haven't actually finished a trap track, but listen to a bit. My favourite type of 808 are those kind of long ones that kind of sustained full amplitude for quite a while and then kind of tailor off quite slowly, but they're pretty long, they're pretty big, but they're not completely flattened. So ratio, probably want 25. See, it's holding it up, like, just to illustrate. It's kind of held up. And then threshold, it's almost like ratio. Learn what the words mean. It's standard compression settings. Something around 14 is ideal for me. It's fat, it's sustained. I like it. Play with the settings. You also got a bit of other settings like EQ and a bit of drive if that's what you want. But I quite like the default on huge kick, huge warm. It's kind of it's the best way to describe it. Subtle. It's a subtle amount of distortion, because without any distortion, what happens is with such a low note, you just won't hear it at all through laptop speakers or anything really small. So it's kind of like you don't even know where it is, but with just this subtle amount of distortion, which part of it comes from the compression and the sample, you can kind of, when you're listening through laptop speakers, you know it's there, even though you don't get all these harmonics that sound obviously distorted. So it's quite nice. Personally, I like it as default, but you can play with it. Also, it's worth noting you can add any other effects you want, depending on what sound you want. But right now, I just want the low end, and this is going to do for my 808 for now. So how do I use that in a song? Well, I find it easiest because if you notice the kind of subtlety, if you keep pressing it, it's like different. Obviously the velocity sensitivity is kind of mostly cancelled out by this compression, but it's still not the same every time, and I like my kicks really fucking consistent. So how do we get that consistency? Well, here's how I do it. Right click, insert MIDI clip. Now you're probably going to want 1 or 4 bars, and then draw in a note. Draw it in velocity 100, and then just check. Works fine. Plays the whole sample. Right click, freeze, and then right click, flatten, and then probably going to want to do something like drag that so it just plays the first one, and then new MIDI clip, and then maybe simpler, and then drag it in. Boom! Done. And then what you can do is just drag that, and then maybe, I don't know, release, depending on how you like playing your MIDI clips. Cool. So just by playing with that release, you can see even if you tap it, it plays the whole thing out, which is what I like, especially with these long ones. It's nice to be able to just bash out like a rhythm and not worry about holding it down. So, and there you have it. You got like your tuned E, so then you can like save and then save it, but fuck it, already done that anyway. Delete. I got my 808 low E, and that way once you kind of get your basic kick, what you like, you can just kind of drag that shit out every time. It's also worth noting, I can't remember specifically how in Simpler, but you must be able to set the root note of the Simpler as an E, or specifically an E1, and then what you'll be able to do is literally play any note on the keyboard and it will pitch the note up proportionally. Because at the moment I think the root note is C3, so if I play say E3, it's pitched up, but it's not pitched up the right amount to stay kind of on the right note. So yeah, I can't remember where in Simpler you kind of set the root note as E1 in this case, which is what we set the frequency to. But yeah, that's more advanced shit if you want to play your 808s on different notes. So there you have it, relatively short 10-minute, I say short, still to 10 minutes tutorial on 808 kicks by trap music, the genre, whatever, in Ableton Live. Yeah, my name's Multiplier. Check me out, links and shit below. I'm gonna do some trap shit, some real trap shit. Whatever. I'm like 6 months behind, but I knew that. I said I'd never make a trap track, but I am, cause feel like it. Fuck you. Do what I want. Sweet. Yeah, have fun making 808 kicks in Ableton Live.